Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be working on a fun little series that I've started, which are essentially revolving around this old cat skull that I have and a couple of watches. So I have a couple planned in the series, and this is the first one. So like most of my paintings lately, I started this the same way. So I'm painting this on a 10 by 10 wooden panel. But what I do is I prime the surface first, sand it nice and smooth, put my sketch on top, and then what I end up doing is I take a spray bottle with a fine mist spray and I kind of get the entire surface wet, and then I dip my paintbrush in some acrylic paint, and then basically I quickly work and do a generalized sort of color wash onto the surface. So it gives it a base to work with that allows you to both quickly lay in some highlights and shadows without a ton of work. So I know my method of doing this is kind of cheating. Normally what I would do is create a diluted wash of color first, so adding water to paint, but this is a nice quick easy method which actually works really well for small paintings. So my base is acrylics, but the rest of the painting is completed with oils. So I did have my sketch on there, which was visible through the acrylic wash. And basically what I did is I like to start with my darks first. So I kind of block in where the largest shadows are, and then start working to slightly more detailed shadows just to kind of block in your general shapes. And then because we're working with a surface that is no longer white, you can actually go in with some lighter colors and push those highlights in as well to start giving it some real form before you actually jump into the details. So as you can see here, I'm jumping in with some white tones and just giving that some actual shape now that all the darks are laid in. So I knew I wanted to go with a super saturated color palette here, so mostly in those orangey sort of copper tones, but I had plans of doing a lot of glazing, so I wasn't too concerned with using the most saturated tones at all times, because I knew I'd be able to correct for that afterwards with some glazes and to be able to unify the piece as a whole. The one thing I told myself that I didn't want to do with this series was to use black oil paint. So all of the darkest tones that you see here are actually the darkest brown tone that I have. Sometimes to add a little bit more depth, I'd put a little bit of purple in there, but no black. I wanted a sort of heavy oil paint style with this one, so a lot of strong brush strokes and thickly applied paint. I wasn't too happy with my use of the palette knife, the metal palette knife at this point, so I actually dug through some of my old tools and I found an old silicone sort of brush tip shaper that I used to use when I would sculpt a lot. And I actually use this a lot to lay in some of those nice big thick lines and patches of oils. It works fantastic. All you need to do is just wipe it off to clean it and it works great. The one thing I did notice with it though is that it makes it very difficult to apply wet onto wet because it tends to be too strong and push through all the layers of paint, revealing the layer underneath rather than piling more on top. So as long as you're letting it dry a little bit and then putting some more on top, you should be golden. This series that I started is largely experimental. I wanted a chance to kind of play with the color tones and textures and just generally play with some oil paints. So that's why I'm having a lot of fun with this, kind of just letting the painting decide which direction it wants to go in. And we're done. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And we're done. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'm hoping to be able to start doing more actual instructional tutorial style videos. So if you have any subjects or techniques that you would really love to see covered, please leave a comment down below. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching! If you like what you see, please subscribe to see more.